back to the Pullze Check podcast. Guys, I did not expect to be having this podcast today. I'm getting ahead of myself. Hold on. Let me introduce everybody. Hold on. Yo, today we have my boys JGOD, Ebatez, Dandro. We've had them on for, a couple podcasts. Dandro was in the last couple ones, right? Dandro, or last one or two?
Yeah.
Okay, and then obviously you guys know JGOD and Ebatez, man. Boys, talk to me, man. Chat for everybody in chat, YouTube, Spotify. Today's podcast is a little bit, for me, a very sad one. Today we're gonna be talking about ROSTERMANIA, man. And for those of y'all who don't know, the reigning champions, Diaz, Shifty, Sage, have parted ways. And right now it is Diaz and Shifty playing together, looking for a third. JGOD, Ebatez, Dandro, how do y'all feel about that? Talk to me.
I feel like there was more to it because in the tournaments we watched, they didn't play terrible and there wasn't a lot of reps. And as soon as now there's all these customs, then they split up. It seemed kind of odd to me. So it feels like they had to have conversations behind the scene about other things that were going on. And from the sounds of it, it sounds like Shifty wants more of a Slayer role instead of an IGL. And then Sage wouldn't really be the good fit to step into that since he's more of like the entry person. Yeah. So basically they're going to go with the different team dynamic with Tommy, which is obviously a really good IGL, but it still kind of is odd. And I don't know how far this goes back because maybe this was all planned and this is why Tommy left Huskers and Smith, right? Because the timing,
I didn't even think about that.
They're talking about for a while. I don't know. So I mean, there's a lot going on, but that's my thoughts.
Okay. All right. Ebatez, talk to me, man.
Honestly, I don't really understand the whole split. I know I did say that if they didn't run it back, I'd call Shifty a bitch. So Shifty, I'm sorry, I gotta call you a bitch for dropping Sage. I honestly don't quite understand it. Obviously, I don't mean it. They obviously have their reasons, but I did say on a few podcasts ago, I was like, if they ever did split up and not try to go back to back, I would call them a bitch. And so I have to stay by my word. No, but I just don't get it, man. It doesn't make any sense to me. I'm obviously they probably have their reasons and they're probably figuring it out. But I mean, dude, they won 2 games on LAN, and if we're going to a match point format, that team can win games. So it doesn't make sense to me. I feel like there's got to be stuff that we don't know. And I feel like if you're dropping Sage, you're doing it for somebody specific. And I feel like this whole trying out roster is just bullshit to me. I feel like they already know who they're going to play with. And I don't know. I guess we'll see how it folds out. But like I said, they know more than I know. So it doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know why you dropped Sage, but they did it and we'll see where it goes.
Okay. All right. What about you, Dandro?
Similarly, I mean, Shifty said a little bit ago on the podcast when he was on with Ashe and Gary, he was like, they're obviously they at least think that they're having trouble closing out games right now. And I think we've seen overall, I think even just between last year and this year, the floor of competition has gone up a couple levels, I think. Yeah. So maybe, to me, it kind of just felt like if Shifty's saying that, and if they think a role change is what's going to help them close out games more, then that kind of is what felt like it. But the thing, I agree with Ethan, because to me, I just looked at it, I was like, okay, cool. If you drop Sage, I'm like, there's really not that many people that I would feel confident that you swap in to Sage's spot and that team stays at the same level or close to it. There's really not that many people I think that you can get on that team that keeps it at the caliber that it is. Right. Granted, we have a lot of runway, right? They can get reps, they can get better as a team, whatever. But even for right now, immediate results, there's not a lot of people. So to kind of Ethan's point, I agree that I think they do this not willy-nilly. I think they have a plan and an idea of how they actually want to do it and still stay dominant.
Yeah, look, man, I think contrary to what most of y'all probably think, obviously Diaz, my best friend, Shifty, one of my close friends, you guys would think I know everything. And I talk to these guys on the daily, but I even said, yo, this is not the right move, in my opinion. Transparently, right? The reasons why they quote unquote dropped Sage was because Shifty said he wants to he said he wants to shift himself to a more slaying role because and have somebody else IGL. Let me tackle that first. I want y'all's opinion on this because, in my opinion, I think that's stupid. Like, I think that's stupid as fuck. I think today, and again, I want you guys, everybody, any competitors, if from here on out in the podcast, please do me a favor and separate. When I talk about you as a player, please know that I separate you as an individual from the player. So if I say you suck, it's not because I don't like you. I love Rampage is like my favorite human in the world. He's dog shit, but I love him to death, right? And so, like, with this, I just want all competitors to know, like, when we're talking about players, just know that there's no hard feelings, right? I just want to get that out of the way. But for example, when it comes to Shifty, in my opinion, Shifty is a top 2 IGL right now. And he proved himself. He proved himself that he's a top 2 IGL in last year and even at the beginning of this year, right? And so, like, it doesn't make sense to me why he would want to give up his position as an IGL and give that to somebody else who arguably might not be as good. So, for example, like right now, this Tommy, the last 2 days, I don't expect people to hop on and like them to be perfect together. I don't expect that. That's not going to happen. Like, there's a grace period, right? But I definitely think there's not a world, unless it's Soka, there's not a world where I would give an IGL to anybody else other than Shifty. If anything, 100%. It should be somebody co-IGLing with him and him stay main IGL, because whether Shifty believes it or not, that man is one of the best IGLs I've seen and proved it in a very short amount of time. So let's tackle that first, right? Like, that. What do you guys think about that? In my opinion, this last 2 tournaments practicing with Tommy kind of proved that to me, that like Tommy, at least in that, from watching, it felt like Tommy is the main IGL and Shifty is just kind of co-IGL. He's, chat, for those of y'all who don't know, IGL means in-game leader. So for it felt like Tommy is main and Shifty is the co-IGL, right? And
I kind of disagree with what you were saying with it being like him not being the IGL, because for me it kind of feels like they're just rebuilding kind of like their team, but the way TBE were, where Tommy's like the IGL, then Ben's kind of like, they can all IGL, and then Ben would be like the Shifty, where he's kind of the IGL, and then like the Silent Slayer is a little bit like Biffle with noobs. So I think it's kind of like they have that same dynamic with that, knowing that there's going to be match point most likely for Warzone, if there's a terminology for Warzone match point. So I don't know if it's that crazy. I think it can work out well, because it's not like when you're an IGL, you're confined to that role and you can't do anything else.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that players are dynamic enough that it could be like stupid, crazy good in like 4 months or 3 months, whenever the World Series would be.
Right.
So I don't know. That's kind of my thoughts.
Okay. Ebatez, what about you, man? I know you kind of had an opinion on this.
Yeah, Shifty, I think, is the best IGL in the game right now. He's been for about a year now, I feel like. Or maybe, maybe a little bit less than a year. Probably, stage 2, I'd say.
Okay.
Ever since then, I just feel like it just doesn't make sense to me. Like you said, I don't know why you're giving the keys to somebody else. Obviously, Tommy's like a very well-decorated IGL. He's probably one of the best, most accomplished players in the game. It's just, like, I get it, but I don't at the same time. It's like, you have a chance here to be the greatest player of all time, and then, like, you're just taking a step back from the role that you've been dominating in. It just doesn't make sense. So, I don't know. Like I said, I just don't believe. I feel like Tommy's kind of like a cover-up right now. I feel like they have an idea of what they want to do, and I feel like they're just giving tryouts, even though I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I feel like they're going to play with Soka. That's their plan right now. So I don't know why they're. I feel like we're just like dancing around the idea. It's like you're Shifty and Biffle. You don't just drop your teammate you just won World Series with unless you have an idea of what you want to do. It's like this team doesn't put themselves in a spot where now they're just throwing up their year like in the air. It's like, we're just trying people out. Like, we're in May. Now we're just going to try people like that. They're not doing that. They're not doing that. That's my opinion. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I hope that's not the case, but I wish they would just stop dancing around the idea and just, do what they're going to do. I feel like it's like the inevitable. I feel like I don't know. You don't drop Sage for anybody but Soka. I'm just going to say it. Like, I feel like it's just not going to happen. I feel like it's the inevitable. And we're waiting for another bad tourney to make something happen.
Why do you think Ahsoka would drop Almond and Noobs, though?
They haven't won a single tournament.
What do you mean? They just won right now.
There's a Twitter tourney.
I know, but what I'm saying is like they've been top like 3 of like a lot of the tourneys. They're like placing high. They're doing well.
Yeah, I know, JGOD, I get that. But do you think Soka and Shifty care about second place? Like, they don't care about anything but winning. If you haven't won,
No,
we've
I
been,
know, but
playing
like,
tournaments for 6 months now. It's like they haven't won. Like, they haven't won. So it's like, that's the, like, at the end of the day, match point, you got to win. You know, it's like that's the whole idea now. If we're going to match point,
I
you
know
got to win. I get what you're saying. Like, second place, don't get me wrong. Second place for a battle royale is very, very good. Like, if you're getting second, like I said, Soka and them getting second World Series, that's a very strong performance. But I think at the end of the day, they want to win.
Winning haven't had a really consistency because of the match point. It adds a little bit of randomness. We know that part of it. Like,
but
the
I think
placements
Soka
are
and
still
Shifty
the same though. Like first was still like Biffle and them were first if you minus the match point. Second was another team. You know,
not to agree with Ebatez. I think this is what I think. Do I think Shifty, Diaz, Soka would ever team together? Ebatez, I hate to break it to you, I don't think they're ever going to team together. I'm just going to be blunt. I don't think Soka and Diaz is like, fuck the game. Like,
I don't think that would work either between those two.
like personality wise, I don't think that works. That's one. But if you're asking me if they came to Soka, would Soka leave? I'm going to be very blunt. I think he does. And the reason being, they're right now, Soka and them are miles, and I'm talking miles ahead of everybody. Like, miles. Like, they are above anybody else, the best team right now. And here's the deal though. There's maybe one other team that gets close to them. That's Dongi and them right now at the moment. Dongi and them. That's the team that's closest to them. In my opinion, the reason, one, let's be honest, let's not, fucking tread lightly here. You could tell, at least it seems like from the outside looking in, those motherfuckers argue way too much. Like, Soka, Ben, noobs. They argue all the fucking time. But I'm going to tell you this right now. Shifty and Soka fucking love each other. Bro, they, like, I'm not even kidding. I've never seen bros love each other more than those two do. And I'm being so dead ass. So, like, I think him hopping on that team would be an instantly S tier team to where Diaz's biggest flaw is what? What do you guys think Diaz's biggest flaw is?
His communication.
Exactly. He don't fucking talk, right? Shifty and Soka don't shut the fuck up. So like that, Diaz would literally, no bullshit, shut up and shoot your gun. That's all he would have to do, right? In that squad. And at that point, who can compete against them? If
Nobody.
you now, like, I'm gonna be honest, maybe this is bias. Soka, Diaz, Shifty, there is nobody right now, because technically Soka's team would no longer be a thing, could compete with them. Like, but again,
100%.
I don't think that would ever happen, in my opinion. I don't think it would. One, the personalities I don't think mix well, and then two, like, Soka's on a winning team right now. But I will say, contrary to what I said too, I definitely think, when World Series gets announced, everybody is going to get better. Same thing as last year, where Soka from literally December through May was winning everything. And then after, obviously, Sage, Shifty, Diaz sucked at first, and then they got way better, right? So, I don't know. Dandro, what's your thoughts, man?
I actually was just thinking about this too. The Soka Shifty Biffle team reminds me a lot of that OG Soka Skull Myapo team, right? That one in Caldera.
Right.
And that team won, and then they kind of like weren't able to win anymore. And I feel like if there's a little bit of like thinking about like Soka's already been in a team sort of chem and dynamic like that, for a while, and maybe has seen that it didn't really work out that way. Like you need all three people coming. When I think about like them, like obviously that's a really gross team, but also when I listen to Soka and Eddie argue and Ben all the time, I kind of get like almost like TSM Apex vibes where it's just like, that's just like the reality, right? Like I feel like, and sometimes when I'm listening to it, it does feel like they're arguing more about like hardcore gameplay and like how they want to approach situation stuff, and not, well, besides when Noobs called Soka a shifty dick rider, but besides that part,
said you're a shifty dick rider and a baby back bitch.
Besides that part,
dude, he was cooking. I can't lie.
It was stemmed from like hey, we screwed up this play massively, right? And I think at least when I see that, like that gives me a lot of hope for that team. Even though, so it's like, from the outside looking at, it's like, oh, they're crumbling, right? They're arguing all the time, but it's like, are they really? Like, that's kind of like always like that to me is a team that's like trying to get better, like all the time, right? So I think that squad, I think the Soka Shifty Biffle squad would be insane and throw a lot of wrenches into a lot of plans and put a lot of pressure on other people to get better. But like you said, I wonder if Soka would be a little bit hesitant to do that because he's already kind of been in that team style before and maybe doesn't like it. Maybe he wants 3 people who are loud and calming and gives him all the info that he needs to run around the map and doesn't want to have to worry about what his third is doing because he knows exactly what they're doing at all times. That's kind of how I think.
Okay. I mean, look, I think that's one, right? We talked about the one, like the Shifty wants to be an IGL again, or Slayer again. I don't think that should be the case. Shifty is fucking insane at IGLing. Now, let's talk about the other thing that JGOD discussed. And I think this is kind of where I think this all derives from. And we've known this. We've known that Shifty, Sage, Diaz, their struggle and what there are the worst at is, can we get Shifty about Soka? If he wants to, tell him hop on. But Shifty wants to, I'm down. But the biggest thing that I think they've struggled with, and it's not a secret, right? Like I've told Sage this, I've told everybody, oh, Shifty's joined. All right, no cam. All right, that's fine. JD, get him set up, puppy. Is they've always struggled to play their lives. Like Sage, Shifty, Diaz, they are insane at getting kills. They are insane at getting points. They're not good at getting wins, right? Can they fix it? 1,050%. That's what I said. I don't think that the change was necessary. I think they could fix it. So if, right, JGOD, if World Series of Warzone is match point, right, they need to win. At the end of the day, them getting kills doesn't matter. Hitting match point doesn't matter. They need to win. So in my opinion, I think that's why the roster change happened, chat. And I think it's because, like, I think I've had this conversation with Sage and he knows I love him, but Sage, when he doesn't put reps in, I feel like he loses his ability to play his life better. When I saw it, Sage during World Series of Warzone was quite literally the perfect player. And we saw this at the beginning when they played last year. Sage would not value his life and he would throw away his life. And then they had a talk. They played a bunch. They fixed it. World Series of Warzone, fucking phenomenal. Perfect player. Then they took a big break, came back to Warzone, to whatever 3 you want to call it. And then first tournament, I felt like it was, again, Sage was kind of like not valuing his life as much, or it felt like he was making some mistakes. Played a little bit more, then got better. You could tell immediately. Now took 80 days off for the mental to with his fiance and stuff like that. And I think that happened again where maybe he wasn't playing his life as good. And so I don't know. I think that's kind of where we're at right now. And if World Series of Warzone is match point, I think it's because of that last year they had flares. You could literally pop flares if somebody dies. There's room to fuck up, right? Like there's room to fuck up. Now, if 1, there's kill multipliers. If 2, there's there's no flares. You have to play perfect now. Like you literally, so that's where I think this is derived from. It's if World Series of Warzone is match point, everybody needs to change. Oh shit, Shifty's here. Hello. Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right,
we can hear you.
I can
What do
hear
y'all
him.
want to know, man?
Wait, can we get him, like, maybe if it's not like JD, I don't know if there's a scene set up to where at least people know that he's there or no.
Got a little bubble.
Yeah, something
little
Voice
talking
bubble
bubble.
from off screen.
Yeah.
something somewhere. Just so people know that it's him. All right, bet. Shifty, give us 2 seconds. Let's keep talking about this, and then once it gets set up.
Bet.
Jay, go
Here's
ahead.
the other question. Where does Sage land then?
I mean, look, I hope this
Because we know he's better than a lot of people on people's rosters.
95% of the competitive scene. Like,
So who blows up to who, or where would he be a good fit, right?
you want my honest opinion? Where he makes the best fit? And I'm sorry, I don't.
He said he's probably quitting.
He's not
I have
trolling,
an idea
though,
too.
Jay
I
God,
want
he's
to
not
hear what you're
trolling.
saying. I have an idea.
I'm gonna be very blunt, chat, and I fuck it, chat. I'm sorry, it's not personal. Breadman, Skullface, Sage. would be
Yeah.
a fucking insane trio. I'm
Sorry,
talking
Joe.
like I love you, Joe. I love you, Joe. But instant, in my
I do
opinion,
think that would be a good team though, for sure.
instant S tier. Instant S tier. That squad with Skullface's ability and Breadman's ability to get to endgame and play their life, and Sage being such a hard kill, that like I don't know if there's a better fit for him there. You know, I don't know.
Honestly, I don't see Bread and Joe splitting. So
They
I was
won't.
literally
They
going to
won't.
say Bread. I was going to say Bread, Joe, and Sage. I honestly see that team playing really well too.
You think Skull
Dang, then
would?
that'd be a domino with Skull going somewhere.
I see. That's where this is going. I think it's gonna like.
I mean, I don't know if that's where it's going. I mean, that team also hasn't won anything either. I think like I was talking about this earlier on stream. Is like we have
Didn't
back-to-back
they play
tourneys
well a
Monday and
couple days
Wednesday.
ago? I
Early.
couldn't watch that tourney, but
Early
They
on,
won
on
like
Tuesday, they were
they
playing
won like
really
the game.
good.
They
They won the first game.
They did really bad.
Oh, okay, so they got
anyways,
ahead
we
in the
have
beginning.
we have a tourney on Monday, tourney on Tuesday. If teams aren't winning, we're going to see a lot of rosters break up, which
Yeah.
I think they should. I don't think anybody should be okay with losing. Like I said, even second place. If you're not winning, I don't think you should be okay with that.
Yeah.
I think we'll see a lot of
was
teams
even
break up.
saying this like a little bit ago. Like now is the time for people just to like cycle teams. Like
Yeah.
you should just be doing that now. Like you should have
Try
like a
shit.
good idea if your team is like has promise or not after like 2 or 3 tourneys, right? Like you should like, so it's like, you know, even like we love to give Brax shit for maybe the method of his madness, but like I gotta give him credit to at least like trying. If he's like, hey, this isn't working, we gotta like figure
this just
something out
in?
here.
Brax just picked up Sage and Yunks just found out. I'm just kidding.
Oh man.
Nah,
But, yeah.
run it up, bro. Fuck it. Do it. They
Why
should.
not?
Everyone should be fucking. Yeah, I mean, like I said, if you're not winning, bro, try some new shit. But just let your fucking teammates know that you're dropping them before
Yes,
you
I'm
do
about
it.
to say, just do it the right way.
Yeah.
Just do it the right way, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, boys, Shifty. I mean, again, we're all speculating. It's all speculation. You said a little bit on your stream. For those of y'all on YouTube or anybody watching, Shifty is in the call right now. He just has no face cam. Shifty, I guess, give us a little bit of insight, bro, as to kind of, and I do want to make this clear. It wasn't just Shifty, all right? Because I know some people are mad about this decision. It wasn't just Shifty. Let it just be known it's Diaz and Shifty. I know everybody wants to paint Shifty as the bad guy. But Shifty,
No, I mean, it's probably mutual all 3 rounds, even Sage's.
what do you
Right?
mean?
He might have even said, hey, you know what? I don't think it's working or
I
whatever.
wouldn't.
You know what I mean?
No.
I don't think
it
that's-
was more me and D. I think Sage felt something was coming.
Okay.
I mean, honestly, this all stems from a conversation I had with them in COD Next. I said that I won't be on a losing team. I don't care that we're champions. Like I get people say that, right? Like he deserves that. Like the champion should like go again. I don't believe that. We had a long talk. I said I don't think we're the team we were last year, at all. And we're like, it's too late in the game for us to have these problems. We've actually been playing the worst we've ever played, which is kind of like the most like craziest part about it. Is we're in 26th place in 4 games. We've never been there before. The practice one before that tournament that we had 26, we had nothing going at all day. Everything was just chalked. Me and Biffle came up to the conclusion that we are looking for a different vibe on the team in terms of, because it's match point. You know, like that's like what it seems like everything's being, because we just changed from fucking kill multis to, and I get like the WTF just like trying out different stuff, but like if we have to win a game to win a tournament, and I did the math, we won 1 game in like 27 custom maps. Like it's just not even, we're not even there. Yeah, it was crazy stat line. And we're not like sure of anyone. I will say I've had 4 people DM me. A lot of people on good teams, a lot of people on maybe not so good teams. I've had strong 4 players hit me up to play. And we're trying shit out right now with Tommy. I think Tommy's a person that me and Biffle both respect a lot in terms of what he's been able to accomplish in Warzone, with his IGLing and what he can bring to the team. And let me, since I was already like top fragging on my team and playing like an anchor IGL role, which was like very stressful, I kind of thought that Tommy would be able to bring us a little more relaxation to me, honestly. Because like just how like Soka yells at Ben and them, like I would yell at Sage and Biffle, and I feel like that, like I don't want to yell. Like it's like I only yell because of how frustrated I am. I feel like with Tommy kind of brings a more chill, calming I'm just way more relaxed right now. Even though we're playing horrible right now. We're not. We're still trying to work through the kinks and all that. But like, I'm not the same mood that I am when I was playing with our team, getting horked on all day. So I'm hoping this is just like the learning period. We're just trying to gel, trying to give Tommy more of like the keys to do what he normally does. And like, I may go back to main IGL with Tommy. We don't know yet. We're just trying it out with Tommy. We tried out a little bit the first time we played. Like, we're just figuring it out, getting our role set, which is the same thing that we did last year. When I don't know if everyone knows, but like when me, Biffle, Sage first joined the team, me and Sage were co-IGL. It didn't really work. I moved to main IGL. Sage went to the fragger, like main fragger. D was just support. So like, I think our team has a lot of flexibility. Tommy was saying that on his last team, he was the guy in the front. So we have a lot of moving pieces that we can do. And right now we're just trying to figure it out, just in case if, you know, an announcement does happen, and let's say we have a World Series, then we just try everything out, see what works the best. And we're not set on a person yet, but right now me and D really do like Tommy.
Okay.
How long are you gonna play before you maybe make like a decision of trying somebody else, you know, maybe in that role? Because they're obviously like, you know, there's a ramp up period for any team. So is it gonna basically just like kind of try and run this till its course, or are you gonna like be like, all right, cool, we're gonna play 3 tournaments after we feel confident, and then we're gonna swap out somebody else? And
Right. Like, I guess I'll add to that. Like, for example, tomorrow with Tommy, right? If things don't go as well, one of the 4 people that messaged you is that like, yo, we don't have time to waste. Is like, when Tuesday, you'll play with somebody else.
No, so we're locked in Monday, Tuesday, and I don't have like a set date, you know, like, oh shit, if we don't win, you're dropped on Wednesday. You know, I have a more of like, you know, I don't have that yet. We're kind of just right now, although we're not playing well, I really like how we're playing. And right now we're just ironing shit out right now. But like, Tommy brings something that like we haven't even had on our roster when I was in main IGL. So I'm noticing that if we can get up to speed, I do think Tommy can be more of what I was. Although people say I'm the best IGL, like, I think Tommy knows how to IGL, and if I could fry and let someone guide me that I trust and respect, because that's a big thing when it comes down to your IGL. If you respect your IGL, you know, I'm with you, or I'm in, or 100% in, 100% out. Like, I'm all in right now with Tommy's calls, and I want to like let it be fully. I want it to blossom more. And then if we feel great, we have our set game plans down, because we don't really have a full idea yet. Once we get all of that, and then let's say we just can't, then maybe. But right now, I'm hoping that Tommy is the set replacement.
Right.
For the end of this year.
Okay. Sorry, go ahead.
Also, I think you guys got a little bit of a luxury in the sense that, like, if somebody, if the people that hit you up, they'll join you regardless whenever. It's like they want to play
Most
with
likely,
you.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's not
Well,
like,
I mean, a lot of people that hit me up
you
too,
know
like
what?
they're
gonna
good
lock
players,
into their
but they're not on
team,
winning
and
rosters.
you know, so you guys are fortunate in that regard, I think.
I also think that like I just feel like people will like, okay, right now people are very fortunate because we haven't been playing well when it was our championship team, and right now we're not playing well. I hope everybody understands that if we do get it down, it's most likely over for a lot of teams. Like, when we hit our peak, right? We hit our peak for last year. It was a 75-point gap. If we can hit our peak and figure out this match point, we could end it in 5. We could end it in 6. Like, I'm telling you, like, people need to hope we don't get there.
Okay, so I mean, Shifty, I'm gonna ask the hard questions, man. Obviously, chat wants to know why not Soka.
I mean, he's on a winning team, bro. Like, I didn't even like. I don't know. I mean, I guess I didn't DM him about it, to be honest. Me and Biffle came to an agreement on Tommy.
Heard.
So we had a conversation of who we want to try out, and Biffle likes Tommy. We both respect Tommy. I respect Tommy a lot. I mean, he's number 1 earned. So like, I think that like initial trust in someone is like what's gonna be the best. But I mean, I think people want me and Soka to team just because we are definitely the best 2 together ever. But I don't know. honestly. I mean, me and Soka have played. It's gone well and it's gone bad, you know. So it's, I don't know. We'll have to see. I do think though that like me and Soka in the future will probably play a big one. Like it'll probably happen, whether we're washed and it's just like a last go around. But like I think viewers want it, so we fucking know that like.
I think you are 20 years old talking about wash, bro. Like, come on, man. Like,
maybe when I'm 25, you know.
You know how old Tommy is, right? And he's not washed, right? You know how old Tommy is.
That's why.
He's
That's why
washed.
I do believe that like me and Soka will link up. I
got
just
a lot
don't
more
know if
fuel
right
in the
now
tank,
it's the
bro.
time.
How old is Soka?
He's 21 or 22. He just turned 22.
22. You are 20.
20.
Heard that. Yeah, I'm going to.
I have a.
Yeah,
Sorry, go ahead.
No.
I got a question.
I was gonna troll them.
So instead of like, so you transitioning from IGL to like a Slayer role and giving somebody the keys, like why not? If you felt like Sage wasn't working, why not just replace Sage and just keeping your guys' roles and trying to work through that? Like, why do you think that do you trust yourself more IGL or do you trust yourself more to be the fragger? Like, is that what happened? Or like, why not like try and find somebody that would replace Sage's role instead of you switching?
Well, because when I was IGLing, I was also taught fragging. So I was like, well, if I can get someone that I respect enough and trust to do what I do, which is honestly just, well, you just got to think. Sit on a building and think and don't get flanked. Let me focus on kills. Because I'm already getting it when I'm in the back. Now, if I'm at the front, like that was our most failing part on our last team was the front. Like our IGLing was good. Our anchor was fine. We didn't get flanked. But I also don't think there's a lot of fraggers that I could trust. So I think I'd go to the front and do it and execute what our problems were. And then if I just get someone that I trust in the back, then we should be good.
Well, I also like what you said too about how like it kind of, you have a really strong like other co-IGL. It helps like take the mental pressure off you. And I got to imagine that's got to be like when you know that you're one of the best shots in the game, to like also not have to put that energy towards like, where is my team playing? Like, where are we hanging out? Like, I have to imagine that it's going to even make you play even better on top of that, because now you can actually like, you know, like you said, like divert more of your actual attention to winning gunfights than necessarily like just trying to position to win the gunfight. And you're already getting them anyway. So it's like, I like that a lot, because I think that's a really understated thing in competitive a lot that people don't think about. Like, we're all like, this person like shoots straight. Wow, they'd be great on a team. But like, you got to think of like the mental aspects of it too. And I think that's what doesn't get talked about enough.
Yeah, I don't think people understand like how. I feel like people think I yell because I'm just a dick. Like, no, bro. Like that stress is insane on a team, especially because I mean I was yelling at the boys last year. We're going in to play for like 1.2 million, bro. Like this ain't a fucking joke. Like if we're not playing good, I am screaming at the top of my lungs. I am fucking so frustrated. And then thank God we played well, bro. Thank God we played well at World Series. We peaked, but like I haven't had a good feeling with our team, and I told this to them when we talked. We haven't had a good performance all year. Although we won the Shatter Gauntlet, we fucking scathed by. That was not. I was 125 points in 6 games. On land, we were able to get 210. So, what are we doing? So it's been a downhill. It's been a downhill decline, like just slight decrease, and then it just got to the point where I feel like we're close to something, and we're as far as we've ever been from the standards that we like have. And I'm just hoping that I'll be able to fix our front, and hopefully Tommy can lead us. But like I'm also still co-IGLing. Like I feel like I'm too strong of a voice to shut the fuck up. Like it's just not gonna happen anymore. Once I went from when I was a fragger with Soka, Triple S, I didn't talk at all until the end game. Like I was like our guy at the end game that would get us out of shit. But then I went to IGL with the boys, and I can't not IGL. You can't unlearn that. Like you just can't. Like once you have a strong presence, you're just always gonna have a strong presence. So now like me and Tommy are just going off, like back and forth, and like we're gonna figure out what works the best, and we're gonna figure out pretty quick.
Yeah, I mean, I guess here's a question for you, Shifty, is like, I know we talked about how if Soka joined, at least I think that it would be like Diaz would have the easiest role, L1, R1. Like that's all he would have to do, right? Like you and Soka just yap all the time. So like he would literally have the easiest job ever. Now, when you think about like so like Tommy coming in as the IGL and you obviously co-IGLing, right? Do you think that Diaz is vocal enough with you and Tommy? Because obviously you have 3 people yapping. That can also be a downside, right? Is Diaz, you think, does he yap enough? Does he still need to work on that? Or is it like, yo, are you okay with Diaz being kind of quiet so that way you and Tommy can figure it out amongst each other? Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I mean, so we noticed that in our me, Biffle, Sage, me and Sage together would talk a lot, and me and Biffle together would talk a lot. It was just when it was like Sage and Biffle in the front, they didn't really talk too much, and I'd be yelling at them to communicate. So like right now, D talks 3 times as much as he ever has. He doesn't shut the fuck up, honestly.
Nice.
Like when we fight, he's like talking, and it's not like useless comms. Like it's actually really good. So like D has quickly closed that gap of like fucking quiet as hell, and I'm like, yo, like what's going on? Like for some reason, he loves to talk now, and I'm okay with it. It's good comms. Right now, our biggest problem, and it's like I don't know, it's 2 tournaments in. You know, I mean, there really is no problem.
Right.
Is me getting used to being in the front again. It's my timings, my pacing. Like I got to get that killer instinct back, and once I get it, that's when we see like how I was on Triple S, dropping the 40+ kills a tournament to 60 in all my like great days. So it's like I'm the problem right now on this team, and I'm the one scamming the most. In this tournament that we just played, I scammed the most. I'm getting blooded, or I'm just not in the right spot, or I'm 2 ahead, shit like that. So like I had to get used to being back in the front. It was funny because Tommy was saying that he also has to get used to being in the back now because he was just in the front. So we might just try out fucking Tommy in the front too. We have a lot of things we could try out. Tommy has said since this TB split, he's moved and played different roles. Since my Triple S split, I've moved and played different roles. So like, probably have 2 of the most versatile players on the same team right now that are figuring out what's gonna work. And then D is just a fucking guy in the middle, bro. Like that guy can just shoot as long as he shoots his gun and gets his trade. I'm just fucking from that guy.
Honestly, I didn't like. That's actually great to hear. Like, obviously, again, transparently, selfishly, you guys know you guys are my team that I want to win, obviously. And
There's no
I
way.
never really thought. What did you say?
I said no way.
Yo, Chad, I noticed, bro. I was watching back. JGOD's always throwing jabs at me, bro. No, but I think that, like, I never really thought about it like that. Even when watching, like, obviously, I was a competitor back in the day, not watching. And I didn't even know that Tommy would be up in the front. So low key, I mean, I know you guys haven't tried it yet. Would you think Monday or Tuesday, tomorrow, or what? Tuesday, sorry, trying out like you in the back, Tommy in the front, or is that like you want to give it? Are you guys willingly trying right now, Tommy in the back, you in the front for a little bit?
Yeah, right now it's Tommy in the back.
Okay,
we're trying that out, and like we're trying more of like. It's me and Tommy 50-50. It's a little more like 30-70 on the calls. Right now we have a good game plan on paper. I'm not gonna say what it is, but we've talked a little bit and we're getting it out right now. We're fixing it. We're trying to figure out what's working. I will say though, it's really bad to have 50-50 calls because it'll come down to a question mark of who does Biffle listen to when we both talk. So right now we're getting it, figured out. Who to listen to at what times, and right now I want Tommy doing all of that right now. I want to see if I give him the keys fully 100% and I'm at that fragger role that's just also a strong voice, then what happens, we could always flip it, see what happens, and hopefully we can have a lot of tournaments that we can test it out and figure out. My main focus is winning games. I don't even give a fuck about the kills. I just want to be in good spots to win the games. If we're getting our rows down, that's the hardest shit on a team. Is to get the rows down, to be comfortable and trust each other when like the zones are pulling, you got 30 smokes popped. I don't think me and Biffle will have a problem getting kills when it comes down to it, when we need to. Right now, we're main focus on zones and staying alive.
Okay. Well, I mean, honestly, man, chat or anybody listening, like that was huge insight into like. Even like me who I've competed and stuff, but that like I feel like what you just said was knowledge that I feel like a lot of people who don't really see this that deep, like you kind of broke
people think
it down.
We just lost and dropped them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people feel like, oh, like you you guys weren't winning and you dropped them. But like, I feel like you guys have a good understanding of what you guys want. And obviously, I know I told you already, like, I wish you guys would have stayed with Sage. Those are like, you guys are all three my boys. I mean, Sage fucking lived with me, right? Like, it sucks. But like, I understand where you're coming from. Like, that you guys have always had a problem winning. And if that's your guys' number one priority right now, I get it. Again, I will say this. I've told you already. And I think you guys could have worked it out just like you guys did last year. But, you know, hey, it is what it is, man. But it's a different game. It's a different game. I understand.
100%.
Last year was flares and, you know, 6 games only. And, I mean, we saw what y'all did. But when was that, boys? The first match point tournament. They were up by, you guys were the first to hit match point, and if it was 6 games, y'all would have won by a mile. So I mean, honestly,
we
man,
had that 6-on-6 locked, but it's just like,
yeah,
it's goddamn, they just had it fucking. Why are we doing this, bro? Like, keep it 6-on-6, bro. You know what I'm saying? But I get it. I mean, hey, we went to LGS, and that should it has to be for the crowd, for all that crowd reaction.
Yeah, it was unreal. It was unreal.
Yeah, no, I mean, a big thing too is just like, bro, the stress of it. I mean, only IGLs would probably know. Like, there's a lot of stress. That shit, like, if I'm not feeling the best, I'm not gonna play the best. I'm not gonna IGL the best. Like, there's a lot that gets into it. So like that stress part is a huge thing.
Very true.
'Cause I was trying to do everything. Like, you know that actor. Like, on that roster, I was like,
yeah.
I felt forced to get 10 plus kills a game. You know what I mean? And like also IGL and Anchor, and that shit was just too much, to be honest. So I'm hoping with Tommy it just takes a little of that off my shoulders and feel a little more free.
Yeah. All right. Well, Shifty, I mean, boys, any other questions for Shifty?
No, I appreciate you hopping on and giving that insight.
Yeah.
I think
I mean,
we all have
Chaps
our
are going
opinions,
crazy, bro.
but
I had to explain, bro.
No,
Chaps are
you're
going
good.
crazy.
It's good that you kind of come on here and just kind of give your opinion and just say how it is. So that's good, man.
I will say you coming on and actually like explaining it all, even me, right? Like, again, I was like, fuck, like, you know, I want Sage there, but like it helped me understand you a little bit more and why the decision it is that you made and what kind of going on in your mind. And again, people can say whatever they want. I completely understand, but you are a world champion for a reason. And like, you know, but Pops, I appreciate you hopping on, man. Anything else you want to say to everybody before we move on?
Are you gonna address Ebatez what he said to you in the chat? No, I'm just lying.
What did Ebatez say?
I saw
y'all gotta
if you drop stage.
Y'all gotta go look at my team, bro. Like, or like my tweets, bro. Like, you ain't doing what I'm doing. Can't really comment on it. You know what I mean?
I saw that tweet too. I saw a tweet. I like that tweet.
I play at the highest level, and like, unfortunately, this is what happens when you don't get to that peak again. It's unfortunate. I love Sage though. I mean, I always told him I respect the fuck out of the shit that we did. Like, that was insane our last year. It's just this year it just went differently.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, I appreciate you, Shifty, man. We'll talk later. You know I love you, man.
Brody.
Get to work, Pops. Get in the lab.
Oh, you know it, brother. All right. Later, bro.
Later, Poppy. Later, bro. Later,
Later,
baby.
man.
Oh, man. Well, boys, thoughts? What's thoughts on all that?
I actually kind of like what he was saying about the co-IGL stuff, because to me, I think it's kind of a pipe.
Sorry, I don't want to cut you off. I just want to, because people are fucking going crazy in the chat. Guys, please, bro, chat. If Sage doesn't want to talk about it, guys, shut the fuck up. Chat, like, I get it. Respect his privacy, chat. If Sage doesn't want to say anything, he doesn't want to say anything, chat. Stop asking him, because you're only going to get him more mad, all right? And now you're getting me mad, bro. All right, go ahead, Dandro. I'm sorry.
Like, I think, well, at the end of the day, I think people think this is like a game, and the reality is like this is his livelihood too. So I'm sure Sage is, you know, he's probably going through the emotions and stuff. So you guys definitely got to give people space when they ask for it.
Chat. The thing is, going what Ebatez said, like, you guys, this is like, oh, it's just a game. Like, think about what Sage wakes up and does every single day, and who he does that with every single day. This is literally his life. These are literally his best friends, bro. And so this probably hurts him so much, chat. And I want you guys to see it in a different light than just, oh, we want to hear the cheese. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, Sage knows at any point he can hop on and talk whenever he wants. That's what this is for people to have an outlet. But if he doesn't want to, I completely understand, man. All right? But sorry, Dandro, I didn't mean to cut you off, puppy.
No, definitely needed to be said because I was losing my brain also reading chat. So mainly though, I was just saying I think people think that there's like this pipe dream when it comes to teams of like, oh, these are like the set roles of a team and like this is how situations will always play out. And I think him talking about sort of that co-IGL, ness, like there's gonna be times where it's just, whatever, Shifty's coming back off of a regain and it's just Biffle and Tommy, and like that's just gonna happen where like they need to play up front, Shifty's got to play up back, right? Maybe he's just trying to find guns, coming back in, and it's just like being able to have that flexibility of a team is like really, really insane. And I think a lot of squads would do better if they thought that way, try to construct their teams about being like, what is the team that like in most situations we can be a little bit flexible with, or even like you said, like if he's having an off day, like who cares? Like, he doesn't have to be like on his shit 24/7 all the time. Like you give a little bit of variance and like leeway in your squads and the skills there. Like, and those are the teams that I think do really well. And that's even why like Soka, Ben and Eddie work so well, I think, is because same thing, right? Like they all can kind of fit those different roles and you have a little bit more leeway. And sure, you want Soka to be your IGL, but I'm sure like Ben is not afraid to speak up and kind of take over when he needs to, right? And I want more squads to like hear this and like go with that more mindset, because that's the type of stuff that like leads progression into like everybody getting better, is by more people adopting a mindset like that.
Yeah.
I really like what Dan said. I've talked about this before. I think there's teams that are really good in a system, but when they get out of their system a little bit, they kind of get overwhelmed. And so that's a really, really strong point from Dan. I like that you brought that up.
I mean, look, bro, we don't we don't even have an announcement yet, right? Like, obviously, hella whispers behind the scene and shit, right? But like, there's nothing been announced, right? Like, there's nothing been 100% confirmed. But like, I will say that, when it does get announced, I feel like a lot of these teams, like, might not even be the team that you guys see right now, right? Like, I feel like a big ROSTERMANIA is coming, man. Let's talk about a little bit what Sage said right now in the chat, and we talked about it yesterday and the day before that. But Sage, I want you guys to understand Sage and where he's at. To him, he cares more about the camaraderie and the brotherhood more than he does about the winning aspect of things, right? So he said, he's like, if I'm not gonna do this with my boys, I'm not gonna play, right? And he said he wanted to quit. Like, again, I've told him, bro, I really, really, really don't want him to quit. That is like the last thing I want. He's way too good. That man is talented on any other fucking roster. He would be their top fragger, right? But I don't know. What do y'all think, boys?
I don't want to see Sage quit. I've talked about it.
Well,
I mean,
yeah.
Go ahead, JGOD. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, like we already kind of talked about it, where he would fit in. Even that was an example. I think he's good to play anywhere. Like we said, he could pick his teams. And going back with Dandro said was that like the teams thought more like that. The problem is there's not enough players out there that can compete at those levels. So that makes it even harder, slim pickings on what you can actually choose. So like he could probably get whatever team he wants to play on at the moment. Like, yeah. And he played with a lot of people in 2v2s and he did customs before he was with them. So, I mean, I'm sure it'll work itself out.
I'd like to see Sage just take a back seat, just be like a floater, as like we like to call it, the players that are floaters, and just sit out. A good team asks you to play with them, but I don't think he should settle for anything that's not the best. Like, I think he should be on a top 5 roster. So I just like to see him just float it out. Rosters will change, people will get dropped, and they're definitely going to be looking at him to be a first pickup. So I mean, I think he should just be a streamer and just enjoy life, and whenever he gets the call, and he's ready.
I think this is my take on this. And I mean, Sage, correct me if I'm wrong. You don't have to correct me if I'm wrong either. I don't think Sage cares to win. Like, sure, he wants to, but I think he wants to build a friendship, and that it's like I'd rather lose with my boys than win with my enemies, or win with people that don't care about me or love me. Yeah. So he said something in the chat. It was like a little, I couldn't really see what it said, but he said if he finds a group of people that he feels like respects him and wants him to be on the team and values him, he'll play again. But so in my opinion, bro, my advice to Sage, and me and him, we're gonna talk after this. I don't even think it's about finding the best team. You know? Like, I don't think it's about finding that. I think it's about like, yo, who can you play with that will be genuinely so stoked to have you, and that be like a ride or die no matter what happens. Even if they don't qual, even if they do, right? Like, and longevity, right? Like, so that's the way I think. Sage, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, right? I have my opinions on that, and I know who I would go with. And you know, we'll talk about it after. But yeah, that's kind of that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at in this. And Sage, no matter what, bro, you know I love you, and I don't want to see you stopping competing because you are fucking talented. At the very least, I don't want to see you not be in the scene. So hop on the fucking couch with me, bro. The fucking very, very last resort. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, boys. I mean, guys, what do you think, man? What do you think as far as like, let's paint the hypothetical picture here, and who does Sage join if it's strictly for trying to win?
Well, who's still available, right? Because we still have Husker Smith. He's got some health things going on. You have who? I mean, there was a long list. You have the list, right?
Double A.
Yep.
There you go. I was about to say.
Adrian, there it is. Aiden, Adrian.
Chat. So we have a list of all the free agents and current teams
Bot?
at the moment. What the hell? Why is it green? Is it green for y'all too? Oh, never mind.
It just changed back.
Okay. So honestly, I mean, we have the list of all the free agents. We have the list of everybody that's like, like all the teams. A lot of this is subject to change, bro. Like, I think any of this is subject to change, right? Like, and I think Sage has that stock to where he can pretty much, for the most part, go to any team or make his own team, right? So, I mean, let's talk. Boys, what do you think about this free agent list? Is there any way you can scroll? Yeah, up there you go.
I think this is probably my only take on this. I think the only team I really see him plugging into is Brett and Joe. But obviously, like, I don't know if I think they played decent. Like you guys said, they had like a decent couple games in the 10K the other day. I don't think Skull and them are going to split. But like, if in a world where it was like he could pick any team, I think he fits really well in that Brett and Joe. Because I know Sage has talked very, very highly about Brett. We've talked actually the other day, like off stream, he like really thinks Brett is like a very, very strong player. So I think he respects him. I think, and Joe and Brett would respect him. Like I said, I'm not saying Skull and them are going to split, but if I could just put Sage anywhere, I would put it there.
Yeah. I mean, again, that if I'm talking S tier level, that squad for me makes so much fucking sense. Like Sage, Breadman, Skullface. You said Ebatez, you said Breadman.
Well,
Joe?
Realistically, Joe and Brett are not splitting. And I think that team lacks right now. Why the reason they're not being successful is because they're lacking kills. Like, they have a really hard time fighting. And I think that Joe, although we think of him as like a Friar, he kind of plays that support role. And Skull, we all know, is kind of like another support role, IGL. So they don't really have a Slayer. So like, the reason I'm saying that is I think Joe and Brett work really well off each other. They just need somebody who can go up and get kills. And I don't think they've given Skull the keys to do that. You know, maybe they're watching this and that they're like, oh, I never thought about that. But I think what that team lacks right now is somebody to be their dog, and they don't have somebody that can shoot they don't have somebody that's like the dog, you know, they don't have somebody that's going to go get the kills and be dirty and like get in and get active. They're very passive. That's a very passive team because of like the roles that they're all set right now.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I don't think that team, I've said it, I think we talked about it in the past couple podcasts. I don't think that team has a Friar right now. They don't have a Slayer
like,
at the moment. Like Slayer, they don't have one person that's like, shit, that's a hard kill. And we know if you give him an inch, he'll go and take a mile type shit. And Sage is that player, right? What do you think, Dandro?
I like that team a lot. I also would love, it's kind of interesting because I know that like you know, when we talk about even like Aiden and Adrian, like their whole thing is that like, oh, they need an IGL, but it's kind of like, I don't know. I think that you could kind of like co-IGL off of like Sage. That's just like, that's a team of like 3 very hard kills on the map. That becomes very, very fun to me because I think they're going to just they're just going to be squirrely. And when it comes up to like 3v3s, like good luck getting those 3 out of a building. Good luck getting them off height. Good luck. Like if they can post up and like put themselves in situations, it'd be stupid. It would be really, really, really hard to get them to move, right? But like Shifty said, it's all about your row. So how does that actually shake out at the end of the day? Like, do they have the thought process? Like, you know, I know we focus a lot on like there needs to be like a main IGL or whatever. But
right.
sometimes I think that there are teams though that you can get by if you have 3 people who know how to communicate and communicate well. I think you can get by. Like, I don't think it always has to be this hardcore. It's a great setup, right? It's a great system to set your team up for. But if you have the people, the personalities to make it happen, you know, you can do it. You don't have to be able to do that. So.
Yeah. I think that you're right. I think a lot of people, including myself, sometimes package, okay, who's IGL, who's role player, who's the Slayer, right? And technically, you don't have to you don't have to have one of those. I will say a lot of teams suck and they need more structure. And a lot of teams suck because they lack the IGL. They lack that stuff, right? But at the end of the day, hey, you got, for example, let's say Tommy and them. Tommy, that's 2 IGLs, 1 fragger. Like, it can work. It works. Like, because they have a brain, right? So in my opinion, most people don't have a brain, and a lot of people don't realize how complex Warzone can be. And a lot of people just, oh, it's RNG. It's RNG. Like, even competitors, oh, it's RNG. It's like, well, yeah, it's RNG, but like, you know, a couple teams keep winning back and forth, like consistently. Like, you might just suck, you know, like being honest, right?
Well, I think the other part too is we need a rule format. Like, we don't even know what the World Series is going to be region locked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's not even a guarantee it's region locked. There's not a guarantee on the format if it's resurgence or both.
Oh,
big
God.
map and small map. We don't even know if it's trios. Like, that's why they need to announce, because imagine it's not region locked and they just go, you know what? Any region can go with anybody.
Damn.
You know what I mean? Like, that would shake up a lot of rosters. But there's a lot of stuff where it's just kind of, they need to announce it. We can make assumptions because of how they've done things in the past, but there's no guarantee things work that way. Because even when you look back at the CDL, before they were region locked, where you had to play with EU players, like 7 years ago or something like that, if you were EU,
Chris
they
wants
opened
in.
it up and everyone could just play. So I don't know. I guess we have to figure out what that is, and then that'll shake it up even further on the roster stuff.
Yeah, that's something I've talked about.
I think Chris wants to join JD. Everybody's spamming it, but I didn't see it.
He said give me the Discord.
Chris, it's not Discord, it's VMix. It's just a link. You put your camera and then you can join. If you chat, or JD, if you can get him in here, you can continue. Sorry, guys.
Honestly, I forgot what I was going to say. It's kind of rude, Hector.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't remember. No, I think, but going back to what Hector's saying, I think like so many people that compete in Warzone just lack a work ethic, and they don't actually know what they're watching. Like, when people watch VODs, like I hear this all the time, people are like, I'm watching VODs. And I'm like, all right, what are you watching your VODs for? And they're like, just watching the VOD. And it's like, they don't watch VODs intentionally to like figure out what the fuck they did wrong. They just watch VODs just to watch VODs, or like get reactions or get clips. Like, I think, like I said, there's just a huge lack of work ethic in the competitive scene. And I do understand too that like it's because we don't have a league or anything. So like I understand, but if at the end of the day, if you want to win, you're gonna do whatever it takes to win. I do remember what I was to say. Going back to what JGOD said, I think it's a huge problem. I've said this, I think, on a few podcasts now, that we don't have any kind of information of an announcement yet, because we're getting to May. And like I said, you know, people might be, let's say they try and rush our World Series this year. Like, let's say qualifiers could be as soon as June. That only gives 4 weeks now for teams to like figure out what the fuck they're going to do under like a what format, you know, if it's match point, if it's 6 games, like what, like now, like, yeah, I don't know. I just wish we did have some more information or some kind of announcement if we are getting it. Or if we didn't, if we're not getting a World Series this year, I wish they would just tell us, hey, we're not getting a World Series this year.
Yeah, don't get our hopes up. I mean, what's the date right now? It's May 12th. Oh my God. Well, just know if it's happening, this shit gonna be just summer gonna be nuts. If it's not
I would
happening,
say that
we're all chalked.
it has to be happening. And if you use the logic of the omission, like obviously no one can get in trouble if they said there's not going to be one because they wouldn't be giving anything away.
Right.
But the reason why no one could talk about it is because there's going to be one.
See, that's what I
usually
said.
How things work. It's
That's
like,
what I said. Like,
You know,
Swagg
it's
said
not
World Series of
like, you
Warzone
want-
isn't happening.
Yo, see, he's lying.
They
I want to
That's
get him
just
on.
what-
Come on. Get him
No,
on.
but that's usually how things work. They'll be like, oh, you know, when you're not talking about something, it's because something is happening, but obviously no one's allowed. In my case, I don't really know. I wish I knew. But
That's-
then I'd be under, yeah.
That's what I said is like, I feel like by now somebody would have told us like, hey bro, it's not happening. Don't get your hopes up. You know what I'm saying? At least like, you know, JD, can we get Swagg in here or no? Chris,
The calling, yeah, people always reference that too. The calling cards are in the game too.
check your DMs. Chris, Pullze Check sent you a link. All you got to do is click the link, attach your camera, attach your mic, and you're in. Oh man.
I wish Swagg, he'll leak something. Watch.
Hey, I'm
Here
down.
we go.
I love
Yeah,
The
bro.
World
Hey.
Series of Warzone trailer, bro. Like who was in that? Joe last year or
Oh yeah.
There's a ton of
Goj,
people.
and there was a few people in there.
Listen, Chris is the golden child, Pops. If he leaks, he ain't getting in trouble.
My
They don't
bad,
give
I
a
didn't
fuck.
know.
Yeah. Anytime there's
You don't
video,
give a
anytime
fuck.
there's posting videos, my bad. My editor posted it like 30 minutes before. My bad.
My bad.
Oh man. So look, if there is a roster last year, for those of y'all who don't know the way it worked, you could only play in the region that you're from or living in, right? Now, how did it work? Like, let's say FIFA, can FIFA come to NA and live here for 6 months? Or let's say qualifiers are 2 months. Can he live here for 2 months and then go back? And then once World Series happens, wherever it's at, he goes. Can that happen?
I hope so.
I
think teams should
but
be able to
that's
play with
like
whoever they
such
want.
a niche example. I'm more with Ebatez where it should be no region lock because then it allows for teams to form the best team they possibly can form, and it could be the most competitive. Because what we saw when we went to LAN is like obviously certain teams don't make the cut because maybe the region's more stacked, and then it just doesn't end up working out right. I don't know. I'm against region lock.
I mean, they have to split regions though because of ping. If we have online qualifiers,
That's what
they
they
have
say.
to
How
be
do you
region
split
locked.
it?
Yeah.
So
I
like,
think
but
Chris
what
is in
you're
here.
saying is like, if let's say I'm playing, or let's say me and Hector are a duo, and we're like, yo, we want to go play with Jukies. We could fly to Europe and go play with Jukies on the European qual.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
But,
you have to
like-
compete in every stage at that location. Yeah.
Christopher.
Dude, can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I
Yeah.
can hear you. Yeah.
It ain't happening.
Yo, chill. Chill.
Come on, bro.
Did he just leak, bro?
He just leaked, man.
It's not happening. It's not happening.
Did he just leak, chat? Listen, man, Chris, you got
It's already-
sources.
it's about my birthday in 2 days, son. If it's not happening now, it's never happening.
Hey, man. Listen, you know what would be the craziest thing for COD to do is an announcement in 2 days and say happy birthday, Chris. What's good, bro?
And they dropped the World Series type shit with
Yeah,
it.
yeah. What's good, bro?
Oh shit.
I think they still want to announce it for 2
And they
more
gave you
weeks.
the PJ this year.
Oh, whoa. Yo, chill. I did get first on no cap. PJ's kind of crazy though.
Oh shit, Chris, man. All right, bro. Talk to us, bro. What you think about the whole situation? D, Sage, Shifty, just everything in general, bro.
Nah, I mean, it's kind of crazy because it's like I was saying, I forgot I was telling this. I'm like, it's not even announced yet, and people are like dropping and all this stuff. And it's like when people switch teams this much, bro, chemistry genuinely matters. So when people are dropping after one tourney loss, I be sitting there like this, like, yo, that's crazy. Because also you're like you can't be home. If you get dropped, it's hard to be homies. Like you can't be home. You feel me? Like, and it's like World Series isn't even announced, right? We just had custom tourneys start back up like last month or like when Frenzy started doing them. So it's like, all this drop is just crazy. And Brack stole 3 of my teammates, so I'm tight. I'm
You know
tight.
what's crazy though? That situation's kind of sucks too, because when we watched your guys' POV, it looked like you guys were like kind of meshing, and it would have been nice to see you guys in a couple more tourneys.
Who was I with? Who was I with?
Youngsters?
It was Youngsters
Oh,
and Mario.
we were balling, bro. We were fucking. Youngsters fired. But I mean, he stole. And also, it sucks for me because, bro, I play with Booyah every day for the last 3 years, and he doesn't. I texted him today about like competitive,
nah.
and he said nah. Like I'll tell you verbatim what he said. Let me see. He said I just can't stay locked when I play them. The time in between matches and waiting in one spot for most of the games just checks me. I try to like them, but I couldn't get into it. So that shit sucks. Like not having like, you know what I'm saying? Like your right hand not playing, but
Sounds
bro,
like
you been stealing my teammates and shit, dog.
it sounds like, I don't know. All I'm saying is, it sounds like Chris needs a new duo that's a ride or die. That's all I'm hearing in my head. That shit.
This guy lucky snaked me, man. He snaked me for a couple of.
For
I
an
see you in the
island,
chat,
Pops.
Lux.
For an
Yeah, what?
Damn, man. Well, look, Chris, what's kind of like, are you kind of looking for some players? Are you kind of, what's kind of your vibe right now? Are you looking for teammates? You got a squad ready? Or you don't want to leak anything? Talk to me.
Nah, I mean, we'll just see. We're seeing the vibes. You feel me? I got a team for tomorrow, and I got a team for Tuesday.
Any
Two
word
different
on,
teams?
Any word on the teams?
Like, who are
Same
they?
roster both days? Or
Yeah,
Is it
two-
the same roster both days or no?
Nah, it's not the same. It's not the same. No. Because I'm playing with Young on Monday, and Young is obviously with.
No, bro. Brax better watch out on land, bro. Who's your squad for Monday?
It's me, Youngsters, and Pins. I picked up Pins again.
Okay. And what about Tuesday?
I'm not saying that yet. You gotta wait till tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
I can't say that one's crazy. When I say that one's gonna be nuts.
Tuesday?
Can't say it though. Yeah, you watch. Check your phone. You can't say anything. Don't say anything. Don't say anything until I tweet on Tuesday.
Nice.
I'm telling you right now, you would never guess this. You would never guess this trio. Nah, you. Hey, Chad, I'll tell you right now, you would never guess that trio. What the fuck?
I'm getting them 40 bands for next 2 months. Book it.
Hey, Pops, you gotta fly them out and have them at your crib, bro. You know what I'm saying?
I gotta do something. I gotta do something. I gotta pull up. You know, I'm only 84th on the list, but I can maybe do a little salary something. We'll see. We'll see.
Oh man. Well, look, man. Look, Chris. I asked this to a lot of people recently. What's your opinion on match point?
I don't know. I don't really like it, to be honest.
Okay. Why don't you like
It's,
it?
As a player
well-
or a viewer?
Oh, I like match point because if you do multipliers, it'll probably take forever to get to match point, right? Am I tweaking?
I think it'd be faster.
Yeah.
You think so? Then with the
Yeah.
20 points for
Because almost everybody's getting 20 kill dubs whenever they win. I've seen a lot of 25s, 24s, 23s, 22s. So that's double that, 44, as opposed to 40, like no matter what, if that makes sense. Only 20.
Yeah, it'll be faster. It'll be faster with multis.
you say, so it's fast for multi. So you guys don't like multis?
I do want multis. I think
I do
multis
too.
are-
yeah.
The
Probably
last
the
turning,
best.
the last turning was a snoozy, bro. There was 80 people in the 6 circle.
Just know from a viewership perspective, that shit was lit. Like I know for y'all
Nah, but
competing,
not that format. I understand
Yeah.
match point, but like the way it was set up, bro, you got like 15 points coming in top 10. So people weren't moving.
Right. That's why I think it's been confirmed. We talked about it with Ashe on the last podcast. On Tuesday will be kill multipliers. So or heading back
gas.
towards the kill
That's
multipliers.
gas.
And again, we talked about the slider. If 6 games kill multipliers is like kill heavy, and then over here match point / placement points is over here on the slow side. We're trying to find the right in the middle, which I think is match point with kill multipliers. So
Yeah, you think it should be World Series though, match point?
bro,
Yeah.
the
don't know, bro,
viewership
because-
is insane, Chris.
Yeah, but even for World Series, bro, like if you're the best team, you're the best team.
Right. But
know
I
what
think
I'm saying?
I'm gonna say this again, Chris. I think the biggest thing is they've set up their teams right now to just get points. Like who can get the most points in 6 games? They like if there is a change into match point, teams also need to adjust to that. And it's the same thing with Apex. At first, bro, everybody sucked at match point in Apex, and it was hard for these guys to win and shit. There was multiple lands, but then
How many players are in Apex?
theirs is 60.
60.
Yeah, bro, that's half, like almost half. So I understand like there's not really a lot of kills to go around in that. So match point makes sense.
Yeah.
You feel me? And because there's only 60 players, teams aren't gonna just go sell. You know what I mean? Like it's with Warzone and World Series, there was 150, bro.
Yeah.
You can't do match point with 150.
I doubt it'd be 150. I mean, we have 100. I think 100
Yeah,
plays
but
very well.
I mean, even with 100 match point, bro, it's that's so much RNG. When you have 60 players, like it's less RNG there is with 100 players. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like in Apex, I was watching like one time ALGs, I think it's called, right? ALGs.
Yeah. ALGs, yeah.
People were winning a tournament with like 2 kills.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I don't know.
Their game's completely different for sure.
That's why I don't know if match point fits Warzone because like there's so many people on the map, and once you die, there's no regaining. Like especially when like the more like the Twitter tourneys, like people kind of just like do whatever. But when you play like the big ones, it slows down so much, and people just can't buy stations like it's their fucking life.
Yeah. I mean, look, bro. I
will say the viewership is insane, and I hope it is in World Series of Warzone, and I hope we get like a 12-game final. That shit would go crazy.
Yeah.
6 games is ass for sure.
That shit's horrible. That shit's horrible.
But match point, there's no games. They just kind of like, right? Like let's say theoretically a team goes absolutely nuts and they get it in 4.
They could.
Yeah, that would be crazy.
Technically, they could. Will that happen? I completely doubt it. Unless Ebatez competes, then it could happen. But like, apart from that, like,
especially in Warzone, it's more likely to go more games because of the point you mentioned that the more players. And that's what if they raise the player count too in season 4 and they say, you know what, World Series of Warzone is going to be 120? Then it could be even harder and they'll be pushed more games. Obviously, it'll thin out some of the lobby because it can't stack as many good players. Because it'll still be the top. That's the top. But
you'd be surprised, man, how many you can fit in the 7th circle. You can fit about 80 people in one little spot.
If it's downtown.
Oh, yeah, we saw the last chance qualifier.
Sure.
That shit went crazy.
Dude, like, okay, here is what kind of like I want people to kind of understand, right? It's 100 players. It's definitely more RNG. But the biggest thing I'm trying to get across to people is like, bro, we are the worst we are ever going to be. If it's match point, we are the worst we're ever going to be at match point. Like, every team will adjust and get better. And the same way how SND wins championships, like, that is going to be winning games in Warzone. It sounds stupid, right? But winning games is how you're going to win championships, right? Like, it's not about... I think if anything, it adds a bigger skill gap because you not only have to be good at getting points, like that's easy. You get points, like, but you also have to get points and win. I think it's going to be a little bit different. I would hope if it's World Series Warzone match point, they're going to have streamer mode. So people aren't going to get tunneled.
Yeah, that's the big difference, I think, though. The streamer
bro,
mode.
Yeah, I mean, if they don't, that'd be a disaster, bro. Because for whatever. Is even gonna happen, bro? It's May. It's middle of May. If anything, it's gonna be all. There's not gonna be a LAN. I'm gonna say this right now. There's not gonna be a LAN. I don't think so. I think if World Series is happening, it's for sure gonna be online again, like the last 2 years.
That would suck.
No, but think about it, like they did it last year because they had so much time to plan the LAN, right? With all the layoffs and stuff, bro, and with like the new COD, like there's a lot in between happening with the shift from Microsoft. I feel like they just didn't have enough time to plan the LAN. So I think World Series will be online if it gets announced this summer.
I mean, look,
I don't see them doing a LAN.
What do you think about what we said? World Series of Warzone COD next. It's gonna be a big ass event.
That would be fucking. That'd be kind of cool.
It's already LAN anyways. We're all there.
Low key.
COD next with 100 players.
Wait, that'd be 2 birds, 1 stone. Hold on, JGOD, you got it cooked right there. Well, look, what do you think about what we said, Chris? Is if it wasn't happening, I feel like by now somebody would have said, yo, this shit, like, would have reached out to, at least I feel like one of us.
Well, why would they though? They're throwing these tournaments over and over. Like if you get told, people get told it's not happening, don't you think some of these people who rely on, you know what I mean, would shift to a game where they can go pro? Like
then the question, do you think they give a fuck?
What do you mean?
Like, do you think they care about us switching to other games?
1000%, bro.
I don't think they care. Like,
you're
at all.
At least the top people, probably. At least some of the top.
Maybe like you, for sure.
For sure. Trust me. I've been asked, bro. Like like shit, like about switching game. You know what I mean? Like they care. I promise you, they care.
The reason why I
1000%.
say that is because, for example, if like let's say it was happening, then all the people that would say something have agreed to an NDA where they can't talk about it. But if it's
Right,
not
that's what I'm saying.
happening, then what happens is I would tell my brother and he would tell somebody because it's not happening. And eventually word on the street would be that it ain't happening because it would be verified that it's not happening. Like you don't have to sign an NDA saying, oh, you know what? This thing that ain't happening, keep that a secret. Like that's not a
facts.
thing. I mean,
I mean, there's no win to telling people it's not happening. You know what I mean? It's just I don't know. I feel like they're just gonna just like keep it rolling. You know what I mean?
I mean, bro,
like I said, if it's happening, it's gonna be. There's no land. I'll put the house on it. There's no land.
The house. Hey, Pops, I don't think anybody can match that, Pops. I don't know.
I'll put the house on. I'll put the house. There's no land.
No.
Damn.
I mean, bro, there's a calling card. World Series of Warzone 2024 in the game.
No, if it's gonna happen, it's gonna be online. Because think about it. Even like before that, of all the years when they announced World Series, when they were online, they were announced in the summer. Who's shaving? Who's shaving?
Dan, are you
Who's
using your...
Yo, who's using the Manscaped shit right now? What are we
That dude
doing?
just fucking shaving his pubes.
What are we doing?
No, I actually did hear that. I don't know what that was.
Yo, who has the grass cutter 9000?
it's all
Yo, that looked crazy. Wait, that was you, JD? Oh my God, that was JD, bro.
oh shit.
Hold on,
that's
the
funny.
vibrator.
Bro has a lawnmower 9000. That's insane.
I was trying to do a hashtag ad midstream, man.
Look, man. All right. What do y'all, if it is a LAN, right? What is y'all's perfect fucking format? Me, copy the fuck out of ALGS, bro. Give us 4 days of LAN. Do I think that's gonna happen? Hell no. But
Fuck no,
like,
shot, bro.
bro, at least, dog. Okay, at least more than 1 day with like 8 to 10 games each day. Bare minimum, if it's gonna be 1 day, bro, please give us at least 8 to 10 games, bro. Because flying 15 hours across the country or across the world to play 6 games, 6 games,
brother.
Bro, I also don't think Warzone will ever get to like a AOG, like that level, even that investment, because, bro, like don't they like aren't orgs that have teams? Like
Yes.
in Warzone, no orgs like there's like TSM doesn't have a team in a Warzone. You know what I'm saying? Like they're
yeah.
not.
I think in the beginning
Thing
of
is-
Apex they didn't either. It was like Joe Schmo, the trio, right?
Even ALGS, you don't have to have like an org. Like, so that team 07, like they just signed up as a team.
I just meant as an investment, like with all the way the production, all that stuff they put into it. Like I feel like a lot of that is because of like orgs are in it. You know what I mean? Like that, and like they probably put money to have teams in it. Maybe I don't fucking.
I think
know.
if Warzone got a league, that a lot of orgs would jump on ship.
teams would hop on. Like this is the way.
Because there's
100%.
0 right now, right? There's 0 for
Zero
Warzone.
I mean,
orgs, like technically, right?
Yeah, there's no org.
no-
There's no org who has a Warzone
there's
team.
creators. Yeah, there's a creator.
No team, right? So this, I mean, Chris, let me ask you this. Look at the numbers for Warzone, right? And this is why I don't think it's possible, bro. Like from a business standpoint, there's no way we don't get a league 1 day. Maybe not in a year, 2 years, who knows, right? But like, look at the numbers of the Warzone, like of Warzone. I'm talking Rebirth, Resurgence.
Dance comes back for sure. Yeah,
Right.
for
Look at those
sure,
numbers.
For sure.
Now look at multiplayer numbers, right? And I know it's different because they had investors 20 million. That's no longer a thing anymore, right? I can see, like, if you're telling me multiplayer, obviously we know multiplayer numbers are not as high as Warzone, right? And they have a league.
You sure? You are you actually sure about that?
Bro, I would put
Yeah.
the house on that, Chris.
No
Same.
way. CDO has way more. There's no shot.
Multiplayer numbers opposed to Warzone, the whole Warzone. I'm talking Resurgence BR. You think multiplayer numbers?
Nah,
Are
CDO's
close.
insane. Bro, when it's a major, CDO has
I'm
like
not talking about CD. I'm talking about player count. Like player,
Yeah,
like
one's
What
paid
you
and
mean?
one's
Like, what do you
free.
mean?
There's no
Like, what do you mean?
contest.
there's no way Warzone, that's a free to play game, gets like has less people playing than a $60 game multiplayer. There's no way.
Well, it's all, but also like they're like 95% of them don't even know World Series of Warzone exists. That's why they got to put it in the game. like-
Exactly.
Like
I agree.
signs.
That's what I'm saying. The ceiling for Warzone is fucking high. Is
Yeah, but
huge. And bro, Warzone had the highest viewer count out of any Call of Duty LAN all of last year. Like the numbers, if Call of Duty is business first. They only care about numbers.
That's also like a one. That was like a special first ever war. You know what I mean? Like it was so special. You feel me? So I think that's why it was also like very intriguing from not even a Call of Duty aspect, but just outside. People were like, talking about like, oh shit, Warzone has a first ever LAN. Right. But like CDLs have LAN so often, so that's why I feel like that was so high. But bro, CDL when it's like
cutting out.
No.
Am I good?
It's good for you.
You're good. No, you're good. You're good. You're good.
I agree with you, Chris. Like it makes sense, but do you not think that's enough to at least intrigue the idea? Because Warzone 2, the game sucked, and we pulled that many numbers when the game was literal dog shit. Like, dude, at least for me, from a business standpoint, it's like you see the market here, you see the market here. I say, why not do both? I'm not saying do one or the other.
MW2 sucked, but it was also MW2 was the most hyped game of all time. Bro, I'm telling you, like the hype leading up to it was insanity. And then because we were switching Warzones, bro. COD Next when we all played MW2, bro. Tim had 90, Nick had 100, bro. It was insane the hype. So I feel like though combined, like you know what I mean, it had a lot of hype and obviously it sucked, but like it was just so fucking crazy hyped up that I don't know. I just feel like the only way like orgs got to get involved. There's so many factors for Warzone to get a LAN. Or like, sorry, to get a league. In my opinion.
I mean, right.
So many factors.
I don't think it happens. I mean, boys, tell me what you guys think, boys. I don't think it happens in a year, 2 years, but I think eventually the numbers, like as a business-minded person, I think the numbers just, they don't lie. They don't lie. And at the end of the day, bro, like look at what they're doing with Resurgence right now. They only care about Resurgence. Why? Because Resurgence numbers are thumbing, right? Like Resurgence has carried Warzone for the since literally Verdansk ended. Right? Like since Caldera was introduced, like, and they don't care if they have to rewrite their whole entire script to get numbers. They only care about that. And at least in my opinion, a free-to-play game that has these probably bajillion viewers, why wouldn't they? Right?
Also each game, if you think about it, bro, I think also the reason why there's not like a lot of like investment like that is because in all the other games, the biggest streamers are the competitive players, right? Fortnite clicks. Like Mr. Sab, like a lot of these guys who get like 90, 80K viewers all play competitive, right? So there's an investment from a streaming, not competitive, but just also like a viewership standpoint. They can sell that, right? Apex, the biggest guys who are the top streamers, are all competitive people, right? With Warzone, it's kind of tough. Like all the biggest Warzone people aren't necessarily all invested competitive. Right. Nick, who plays Warzone every day, one of the biggest, doesn't play competitive, right? Tim, who plays it all the time, doesn't play competitive, you know what I mean? So that's why I feel like until we get to a point where it kind of shifts, where the biggest, like the top like 10 people, like streamers, are all competitive people, that's where it'll be the investment, because it's also viewership they're looking at as well.
I agree.
You feel what I'm saying? It's not just about like, you know what I mean? Like they put so much effort into FNCS because there'll be multiple streamers with 100,000 viewers. In total, they'll probably have 1.6 million people watch. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So like, but here's the thing though, like everything that you just said, you are fucking spitting. That's why I always say, yo, competitors, start posting fucking content. Like they need to see the buy-in from both sides. But
for sure.
What I'm saying is like, bro, they had to start somewhere, right? Look at Fortnite. Fortnite was a crazy game and there was no competitive. There was just a bunch of players streaming until they said, fuck it. Let's just throw in a cash cup, throw in a Fortnite World Cup and see what happens. And like now, obviously, fast forward 5 to 6 years. I mean, I don't even watch Fortnite, but I watched their FNCS semifinals this weekend or whatever.
Crazy.
And they're still doing it, right? But it had to start somewhere. At least for me, if you're a business-minded person, it doesn't, whether it be a year, 2 years, 3 or 4 years, 5 years, there's no way it doesn't happen. Like, at least my opinion, right? I don't think, what do you guys think? Dandro, Joe?
Let me add on to that too. Like those guys, like Clicks and all them, like they built their brand off of competing. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's like if there was no competition, their numbers wouldn't nearly be as high. So like all those guys, I mean, Benji, Fishy or whatever, Mongrel, all those guys, they all competed and won. And that's how they got not even their start. That's how they built their brand. So I feel like, so I'm saying is I feel like we're missing such a huge opportunity here. Like I'll use like Soka, Shifty as an example. Like those guys win a lot. It's like, bro, they could be massive if we had like a supported league. Like those guys, I could easily be seen to sign to tier 1 orgs, you know what I mean? But it's like, we don't have that support and their numbers are probably not as high as they could be. even though they're like insanely talented players. We're just there's such a huge miss there. Like I feel like it's, I don't know.
I'll be real quick. I think the biggest issue was Warzone 2. That cut off all the momentum of the game.
Right.
Besides COVID or whatever ending or whatever, that game set the game back so far on the perception of the game that people think the game still is like last year, which it is not. It's actually in a like playable state when they don't have a reload bug or whatever. But in general, the game got set back like 3 years because of 1 year was so fucked up. Like, if we're being honest.
Yeah. I agree. What about you, Dandro? What's your, obviously you're heavily on the side of competitive Warzone. What's kind of your take on all this?
I think kind of basically alongside like Ebatez and JGOD, until we get developer like actual support for competitive, and I mean that in that is not the influencer relation teams getting a budget to throw tournaments. I love Shanice. Thank you. Your team is amazing. I love it. But until it's like, hey, this is a competitive structure that this money is going towards, and not just we have this cash that's getting flown out of Activision to miscellaneous tournament organizers to run things, and it's really like on the tournament organizers, and then it's kind of like on the community, right, to sort of steer the ship for competitive, I guess. Like until we get to that point, I think there's a gap, I think, between now and getting there. Because the thing that we also have to remember with things like Apex and Fortnite, and even like PUBG and like any other game that has a competitive battle royale, a lot of them are built with competitiveness first, right? Like that's the thing. Like
Right.
Apex, like everything is centered around basically if you're not pred, like your opinion doesn't matter on the state of the game type shit, right? It's like, and it's just, to me, it's kind of like, until we get to that point where like we're making the game competitive, even like a little bit right now, right? Like even if we're getting like some little sprinkles, cool. Like until there's like that point, it's gonna be really tough for us. So it's like that's for me. Like I want to see some initiative from a little bit from the developer side, a little bit more, just a little bit, help something. Like World Series of Warzone is a great start. That's fantastic, cool. But like we even had CDLR, right? Like we've had these like big marquee events that were like driven to be competitive, and we kind of are all just guessing and waiting. And I would love to see more of that.
Yeah. I mean,
to have, like,
Even the
anything,
fact that private matches weren't working, customs, you're not allowed to change rules at all. There's so many limitations, and there's not like a bind where it just says World Series or ranked format or whatever, where you guys could click a button and it would be like ranked. I mean, I don't know. There's the Codcaster isn't readily available because you need a supercomputer, and then I don't know.
Honestly, instead of let's say, right, there's only 2 BRs, right? At least from my recall, is Fortnite and Apex that do quote unquote like competitive leagues, right? As of right now,
PUBG still does one. I think
Okay.
their mobile does
PUBG
it.
cooks.
okay. I actually didn't know about that one.
Yeah, but they're massive overseas. It's a whole different
It's
ball
different.
game with
Yeah.
PUBG.
I think
It's totally different.
if Warzone gets anything, I don't know if they would invest. Again, it's all numbers. If it makes them money, or if they feel like it's worth the marketing, they'll do it. And so it's either would be Apex route, but in my opinion, the route that I think Call of Duty does is the Fortnite route, where they do like every weekend cash cups, where it's something built into the game where people can play, and then every couple months they have qualifiers, and then they do something, right? Like that's how I feel. That's what I think. I don't think they necessarily go and do the Apex route. I mean, would I hope so? Fuck yeah, right? But that game is their bread and butter is fucking competitive. Ours is not. It's who wants to Rebirth Island, casual, you know what I'm saying?
Well,
like
I think this also kind of
their
goes
bread and
back to
butter.
what I was saying in the last one, where they didn't really set a good foundation from the beginning because all there was pubs versus Apex. Ranked came by pretty quickly, and they invested in ranked right away. We've only had ranked for like a year. Like basically 1 year, we've only had ranked in Warzone. Big map a couple
Literally.
seasons back to back, and then now we've had Resurgence. And I think that's them testing, even though they're not saying, hey, we're using this data as a way to gain, metrics on whatever. And then hopefully in season 4, we'll get Big Map again and we'll have a better idea on that. Because I think having a rank system, even though it, in like Joe said in the chat, he goes, oh, it's only because it's 0.0001% of the people that are competitive. Well, it's because if you don't grow the competitive side, you're not going to have competitive players.
Right.
That's the reality of it, because why would you? Like, you're going to go, oh, yeah, they're just pubs. They play pubs with the 2 box. Are they really all that good? Who knows? You know, where there's a ranked, then there can be a little bit of growth in that, and maybe people spark their interest and they go, who the fuck's this guy on the top of the leaderboard? I haven't heard of him. And then you go check him out. He has 5 viewers, looks pretty good. Maybe he gets a shot, and then all of a sudden there's a new person into your competitive scene. And that's kind of how it normally works, even within multiplayer. There was a lot of these CDL guys that started up as ranked grinders in World War II. BO4 didn't have, but you know, those types of things, BO4 had it later, but you know what I mean? And then that's how they get identified early on, and then you can grow your scene. We're only a year into ranked Warzone.
Yeah. I mean, shit. If you put it in that perspective, that's kind of a slap in the face, bro. Because look at what they did to our ranked. Look at the true ranked playlist, and they put fucking Resurgence on it. The most least competitive, no skill thing ever, and they put it on that. Like, that just goes to show that, you know, like, again, numbers matter. So I guess it's a 2 sides to the coin, right? Like, they don't give a fuck about what's actually competitive. They give a fuck about what brings them numbers, right? And right now, Resurgence is bringing them numbers. So same thing. I go back to it. If LANs or whatever are bringing them numbers, at least again, I don't. Maybe it's not going to be a league. Maybe it's some form of it, right? So I don't know. That's kind of where my take is on that. But I don't know, boys. It's all speculation. It's all for content. And I hope that we get an announcement soon, because I know, at least from what I can tell from everybody, there's a huge demand for it, but no supply. Again, what Dandro said, all we have right now is like marketing tournaments right now. Like, we don't have an actual league. Well, it's just Warzone. That's actual league, whatever you want to call it. But I definitely think World Series of Warzone can evolve into something dope. Chris, what is your ideal situation when it comes to competitive? What is your like dream scenario?
No, I think it'd be cool. Like, World Series as a whole is a great start. I feel like that should be like a year-round thing. Like, you announce it like when the new iteration of Warzone comes out, right? And then you have shit. Instead of doing all these little tournaments, you just do like World Series throughout. I don't know how you would build it, but I think COD, especially CDL, was awesome when it was majors, right? And then it had champs. But I think CDL is boring because the like league matches and all this shit, like, that's just boring to watch. There's no really like excitement except all the way until, I don't know, like the end in a sense. And then the formats were, that's why I think CDL was fire, was when there wasn't like a league in a sense.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense.
Well, it sounds like that's going to expand because they dropped that pay thing or whatever, where they got their 25 mil back or whatever they had invested. So I think that's going to open up the league where there could be like 30 teams next year, and like small orgs, the ones that are competing like Apex or Fortnite that don't have a $25 million spot in COD at the moment. That's going to expand, and I think it'll open it up, and hopefully it returns to kind of how events were back when COD. Because when you go, there'd be like 3 different stages. You'd have the main stage. They call it the main stage. It's the only fucking stage. You know, it's like, what the hell are we doing?
Yeah. It was fire. It was fire the way they did it, and then they had like for the challengers.
I love that, bro.
Yeah.
That was so sick. Like, going from challengers, watching people, and then getting a chance to play against the pros. Like that.
Tough.
The storylines were fucking insane. Like,
for sure.
That, and I mean, I don't know if it's gonna eventually lead to something like that. But like, I mean, Chris, would you want something like that for Warzone? Like, what is your like? Obviously, we have one LAN, right? That's all we got right now. And in a perfect world, what would you? If you got the keys, bro, they say, Chris, you are Call of Duty's golden child. Tell us how we want to run our competitive scene. What would you do?
You pair it up with the CDL, bro. So whenever CDL has a LAN, like, let's say like you have a Warzone within it as well, right? That way there's not a ton of like, you don't have to do it separate. You can do it all together, right? You just have to maybe add probably a little bit more fucking setups. But I think you do it with CDL and Warzone because back then, what it was is MLG had LANs, obviously for COD, but there'd be other games with it as well. So there'd be like a like a Smite land like happening like next, you know what I mean, like next door over.
Yeah.
Like that. So I think that'd be cool if CDO and Warzone both, whenever they had lands, they had it together.
Yeah.
I think that'd be sick as fuck because in that way the fan bases overlap and shit like that, and a lot of people show up not only just for CDO but they also show up for all the Warzone. You know what I mean? So that makes the most sense in my opinion, is having them at the same time, just like how
It'd be
MLG
cool if they
back
did
in the
that
day.
with Halo because of Xbox. You know, they own both now.
Oh. Would you do like same venue type shit or like
yes,
like,
for sure.
damn,
Hell.
bro.
The venue
Yeah,
has to be
they-
larger though.
It'd be fucking huge.
Well, I mean,
Huge,
yeah,
bro.
you can still do that like a massive convention centers, but I think that's the only way I could see it like working and is like feeding into each other, right? You saw how much people love the CDO versus Warzone,
Right.
But if you had those on LAN like together, that'd be sick as fuck in my opinion.
Overlapping of communities would be so sick. Again,
For sure,
I don't know.
for sure.
Who knows what Microsoft is gonna do at the end of the day? They're the ones that got the keys. They're the ones that like. I think honestly, in my opinion, that's probably why this shit's taking so long to like. If World Series is gonna be a thing, why it hasn't been announced? It's probably because of that merger. Like I'm assuming everything stopped when that happened. But I don't know, man. Look, bro. At the end of the day, I'm just excited to be able to hopefully watch some competitive Warzone this summer. I'm hoping they announce something, bro. You know, that dude, again, like look at Sage and them. Like I hope it didn't break their friendship, but we got things like that happening and not like, we don't even know what's going on yet. Right. Like we don't even know.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know, man. Chris, I appreciate you hopping on last second, bro.
Of course. Thank you for having
anything
me.
you
I
want to get off
appreciate
your
it.
chest?
Nah, I'm chilling.
No fuck
And also,
Weston?
no. I don't care. But people were saying how like it'd be a lot of like with the Hunter setups, bro. At World Series, they fit a lot of setups. Like it wasn't like a massive space. Like it was, you know what I mean? I feel like if they did that and had like a CDO event next to it with like a set, I think they can do it, bro.
I don't want to hear the whole. I know Joe said it. I don't want to hear that
I feel
whole
like
number
the
of money
Apex
shit.
one, they wasted so much more space compared to how COD did it.
Yeah,
I
there's
don't know.
only
You
20
went to the
teams.
venue, right? No. But what I'm saying, they wasted more space than the R teams,
Yes, correct.
right?
Yes,
right.
it was
Ebatez?
But I don't.
Say
Go
again?
ahead.
Apex, I feel like they could be way more efficient with their space because the way they have it, they waste a lot of space, right? For their tourney. Like
Nah,
the
we had
COD
dual-
one
we
was
had-
so
we had dual
compact.
PCs.
It was like,
Dude, y'all had
Yeah,
dual
They have
PCs.
like, so
But it
there's
was like a weird PC. Like it was like dual PC setup, but like it was like a little box.
yeah.
I feel like it was like, am I
was like a
tweaking it
micro.
right? It's like,
you're
yeah,
so-
it was like a micro PC we were on, but it was dual. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys, okay? JGOD was talking about Apex venue size. That they like, right? That's what you were talking about.
Yeah, even though they have like 30% less players, I feel like their space for their players is much larger.
Their stage is massive.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah.
they have a lot of space. Yeah, they have a lot of space.
This is what I
Like
want to say.
wasted where they could like ours.
people.
We were super efficient. We could have more people.
Well, the
Not
thing is,
even
like,
that.
they do like the double decker thing. They do like 10 rows on the bottom, 10 rows on the top, and it's like 3 players per row or whatever per box. And they're only doing half a stage. I mean, bro, if they open it up, they could just it'd be like it's like a half circle. We could just open up the second half, do a full circle.
Yeah.
I mean, that's 60 people in that double layer. I get it. Like, knows a lot. It was sick too. Like, both the top and the bottom had like screens along the whole player side, so you could see what teams were sitting where. It was fire, man. I want to go back. Can't lie. I'm going to the next ALGS for sure, bro.
But I
shit
want to
was
just
gas.
quickly remind everybody, bro. Like what I was saying was like, I know Joe was saying like, oh, they wouldn't do it 8 PCs versus
They
300.
would. They
Like,
can do
bro,
it. They can do it.
I don't want to hear
There's-
that excuse when we had
They can do it.
300 PCs on LAN, 1, and then 2. Look at COD Next, bruh. COD Next.
Yeah, they do it
was
all the time.
Dual PC, and COD Next had
guarantee you.
100 plus creators. They also had production for that, where they could look at every single POV. So they
They're fully
could do it.
capable of doing it. Yeah. All
They
you have to
can
do is what
easily
add.
do it.
All you have to do is add eight more setups to that COD Next. They can easily do it, bro.
I know, we've seen it happen. It's more of, are they willing to, or do they see it worth the
And
investment?
they're owned by Microsoft. If they could get whatever fucking PCs they want, bro. Like, what are we
It's not
talking
money.
They're all
about,
playing
man?
on Xboxes now. Have fun.
Bro, I'll go back to fucking console for sure. Like I don't give a fuck. That shit is
put us
that
on
would be
console.
fire
There's
too.
a league, pops. I'm there. You know,
Bro, they should do a Warzone league. Throw everyone on console. I'm so dead ass. That shit would be ass.
That would be nice. Yeah.
you think people would like?
But
I mean,
Well, you'd have to.
if they
You
made
wouldn't
it
have a
like, I
choice if
mean,
that was the
yeah.
rule.
oh, they
I don't
could
want
do
to
it where they
hear
do Xbox.
everyone in chat. Everyone in chat's kind of like, oh, well, keyboard and mouse players. Like I don't want to hear it, man. We play Call of Duty, bro. You want to play? You play on a controller.
God. Dude, I get it. I get it. Like, I understand to everybody, it seems like, again, we talked about it before, and I'll say this again. Like, how do we expect Call of Duty to want to buy in? Call of Duty, Activision, and Microsoft to buy in if they see already the negative, all the competitors not even wanting it, or not say that they don't want it, but not even they are like, oh, like it is what it is. Like, oh, it's not happening, or oh, it would never happen. Like, I promise you, they see that. They see that. How do we expect Activision to want to buy in, or fuck Activision, Microsoft to want to buy in if not even we think it's gonna happen one day? Not fuck Activision, don't kill me. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I was
That's
like,
actually
oh, he
crazy.
said that.
You know what I
Crazy.
mean? You know what I mean?
Bro's wildin'.
GG. Nah, I don't know, man. But boys, honestly, today's podcast was lit. We talked about a lot. I'm still heartbroken about the whole Sage thing, man. But I will say, probably Tuesday, there'll probably be a lot of teams moving around. We'll see. Swagg, Chris, when do you think we get an announcement?
Man, I don't know. Let me get through tomorrow's tourney first, man. Hey.
So you sure you don't want to tell us your team for Tuesday? I mean, I know shit. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, well, we'll find that Tuesday type shit. Chill, twin.
Chad, just know his team on Tuesday's lit as
leak.
fuck. His team on
No
Tuesday's
leak.
lit.
I
I
can't
ain't gonna
leak,
say
bro.
nothing.
The way the landscape is right now, I may have no teammates for Tuesday. You know what I mean? let me just get
Yeah,
through
true.
it.
You
know
leaked too
what I mean?
early. You leaked too early. Brax might call him up. You know.
That's my
Yeah,
call.
I'm
Like,
hearing
you know what I mean? I gotta chill.
I hear you. I'm hearing
I
you.
gotta wait till
Okay.
game time,
Yeah.
man.
I actually like that. You should have. Yeah. Don't announce anything until the day of. I like that actually out of you. It's passion.
Ooh, hey, just be careful though,
Hashtag
after
passion,
that
hashtag
tournament,
love.
Pops. Just be careful, bro. You gotta confiscate their
man.
phones.
No, I'll put them on salary. No bullshit. You'll see. I'm putting them on salary.
Oh man, well, boys. Anything else before we conclude the podcast? Any last minute thoughts, or if I'm forgetting any topics that we didn't discuss, or even something that y'all want to discuss, let me know now. Gucci?
I don't think there's anything, but somebody did make a good point in my chat, which they have in previous ones. I just didn't bring it up. Is that one of the part that sets COD back compared to those Fortnite and Apex is they don't have to make a new game every year.
True.
Literally, they're just working off the same game.
Well,
every
yeah. Now
single year.
they created a new engine, so now it's like it's
Yeah.
all kind of like this. Now it's all kind of the same in a sense.
now COD, but yeah.
Hey, I hope a year or two we get something. I mean, again, we evolved from World Series of Warzone online for 2 years, then evolved into a LAN, then evolved into hopefully shit. I hope it evolves something
Next
this year,
I
and
think
then
we need a league next year. We need a league next year.
Over
Some
dance
kind of league.
for I mean, that's the only time to do. Like that would be the most popping. Like
Yeah.
it won't be peak Warzone, but it'll be pretty close. It'll be like when they announce it and they bring it back those first couple months. That shit's gonna
Nuts.
be crazy.
nuts.
That's what I'm
bro.
saying. We need a league with team support, org support next year.
Look, man. Hey, I get the whole org support. Just give us acti support. Like you know, like as long as they want to do it, they can make it happen. So if there's any year to do it, it would be next year. Again, Treyarch. They had 15 months to cook up Cold War. Pretty decent game. They got 48. They had 48 months
Treyarch
to
doesn't
cook
miss.
up. They don't
Treyarch
miss.
doesn't miss.
Chris, have they ever missed? Have they ever missed?
They've never. I swear to God, Treyarch has never
Never.
missed a game.
They've never missed, chat. So if there's any year for them to fully invest into competitive or even the game in general, next year, bro.
They
next
also
year.
care more about competitive as well.
Yes, they do.
That's
They
why
do.
they're the ones in charge of the Warzone one.
You get me horny,
Low-key.
JGOD. I can't lie. You get me horny.
It's just facts. You talk to them, they actually care about that. And when I don't know if they're still working there, but the devs they would play ranked.
Yeah, yeah. They like again. They were everybody. Obviously, growing up watching CDL, they would always say Treyarch is the one like studio that actually cares. They might not be able to do everything right. Like for example, like Ban and Protect, that came from players GAing shit. Like that was their way of like, okay, we can't ban all this stuff, but we'll let you do it, right? Like, you know, that's how that came to be. So they care, and chat, boys. I think I got sucked into the COD cycle again, bro. They sucked me dry.
Nah, it's Treyarch don't miss. And also, isn't it crazy that Vaughn stopped working on like all this shit like right after Blackout? Like he didn't even do Cold War, none of that. Did you know that?
Damn. He didn't do Cold War?
No, bro. He went around when that happened, but it was still fire though. I thought it was still gas.
Yeah. I like Cold War. I thought it was lit. Like,
but Treyarch as a whole don't miss. They got the best camos. They got the best everything, bro. Competitive. Like I love watching competitive on Cold War. I think it was a snoozer. They like the MW2 maps aren't really that. Like, I don't know.
yeah, they kind of.
You already know how they all messed up. They should have did what they did last year during MW2, all that shit. But yeah.
What, Chris? What? Side note. What do you think about specialists in the game for Warzone? Like not specialist bonus.
No. Oh wait, wait a minute. Specialist bonus?
Specialist bonus,
No,
kill
not
streak.
specialist bonus. Like glitch, heat wave.
It's like
It was tough. Shit was tough, bro.
I thought that shit was tough, bro.
She was
It
fire.
was in
Black Ops 2 was
CDL.
gas.
It was in CDL and it was fire.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously
And they
some
had to do
people
like a
didn't like
draft
it.
and bans and everything. That shit was fire.
It just added another level of like strategy to it, maybe a little bit RNG, I guess. But like also CDL people would kind of know, like they would play so much, like they would know when people have their specialists.
Right.
So they would like play around. It was.
Oh,
I don't know,
it was a skill
I
gap.
thought it was exciting as fuck. It was exciting.
See, that's the type of shit. Like, imagine that in Warzone, right? Like, and then there's an operator. I'm not gonna say like cop Gibby or anything like that, but like that has a fucking deployable shield. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, think about the plays, bro, Chris. Imagine you in let's just say Resurgence, right? In Rebirth. You knock 3. You know there's a 4th guy coming. You're one shot. You glitch away, get behind him. You wipe a team.
Bro, it's
Like-
it makes it for exciting for sure. And Apex has that shit too. So it's not like it's like far fetched for COD to have it, because COD has already had before. And Apex, they play for fucking hella bread, and they all have like a specialist. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, I hope that comes back. Whatever next card is called, I hope it comes back for that, man. Jesus, bro. But boys, listen, man. Hey, GG's on today's podcast. I appreciate y'all for hopping on, man. We got tournament tomorrow, $30,000 one. Tuesday, $10,000 match point. And then hopefully there is some practice tournaments or something, bro. Boys, I just come on, man. It's May. Bro, it's May 12th, bro. Like, give us
We're not
something,
getting a
dog.
land. We're not getting a lane. We're not getting a lane.
Hey, you got the house on it, so you better hope not.
The whole house. I'll put the whole house on. We don't get a lane.
All right, man. Ebatez, JGOD, Dandro, Mr. Christopher. I appreciate you guys and everybody at home. We'll catch you guys on the next post check, baby. Peace, 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 peace.